Ah, the ocean. Such a peaceful and serene place. Perfect to sit, relax, and... Holy shit, what is that? So, Arknight's second anniversary event, or just a weirdly time-limited banner when we're talking about us on Global, came and went. But how good was it exactly? Well, here in the Skorak Gacha Labs, we aim to find out exactly that. We're gonna be dissecting this piece of content and reviewing it fully, from its story, to the gameplay, new ops, and the miscellaneous features it added. We'll be taking all of them and ranking them from 1 to 6 stars, proceeding to then give the event an overall rating on the same scale. Keep in mind, this list is based on my opinions and thoughts, plus it is also meant to be comedic and entertaining, thus it should by no way be taken as objective fact. That being said, I've been playing this godforsaken game for like 1 year and a half, making sure to grab all the event medals, so I think I've at least somewhat earned my credentials in this area. But without further ado, get ready to experience Eldritch Madness in 3, 2... Bloodborne is a 2015 game published by From Software in the Souls-like genre and covering themes of... Oh, wait, wrong script. Shit. Undertides is at its core a classic Lovecraftian tale anime-fied. This is a novel concept since on paper it would lead to utter disaster. We're talking about a cosmic horror story where the main character was never in any threat because of the gacha model needing her to make it out of this relatively unscathed. The story itself needs to introduce new characters that will also have to make it out so they can be on the banner. Most of the protagonists are massively more powerful than the monsters they are fighting, invalidating the entire premise of the genre, and a relatively happy ending is achieved with very few negative consequences. However, looking at book covers is not only misleading, but also deadly. Trust me, I know. So let's dig into the story and see how well it holds up. Summarized, the story follows the abyssal hunter Skadi traveling to an Iberian city disguised as a traveling singer in search of her colleague Spectre, who has been abducted by her previously thought dead superior Gladia. Once there, she discovers that not all is well in a coastal town, having to fend off against the strange locals and befriending a girl named Anita, whose design I simply adore. Wood frame operator, make it happen, Yostar! Through their escapades, they discover a conspiracy brewing involving the monster-worshipping Church of the Deep, that one Inquisition nobody expects, and... Calcit for some reason? Overall, the event can stand on its own 2 feet and tell a competent story with the main theme being self-discovery, whether it being Skadi coming to terms with her true nature as a half-monster bait so a bunch of fish people could fight off Cthulhu, Anita becoming more aware and accepting of her tendencies as an inquisitive and free-spirited person, or the Junior Inquisitor's journey towards a more compassionate way of thinking and acting. I thought Gladia was an interesting character and plot device, sort of filling in for the horror aspect of the story by being an entity with unknown motives which Skadi just couldn't physically overpower. In the end, I am surprised to say that I give this story 5 stars. It just misses that 6th one because of the shoehorned Calcit inclusion and the fact Spectre, the main plot device, goes back to where she started before the story with only a couple scenes of lucidity. I know it was inevitable given the nature of the game as a gacha unit collector, but I still have to deduce points from a storytelling perspective. Given that Spectre regaining her sanity was a very cool moment that was almost instantly invalidated due to the game's aforementioned gacha nature. But overall, I would say I'm pleasantly surprised. Undertide serves as both a nice expansion of Terra's lore and a very competent piece of storytelling in its own right. Though if they keep using Skadi for these events, I'm afraid she's gonna end up baking cookies and knitting in like a year or so. Seriously, they keep making her nicer and nicer in these events, and while I'm not against it, it is kinda funny to witness. Talking about the gameplay in these videos usually boils down to a few distinct factors. The unit mechanics, the stage layout and normal behaviors, and the boss/bosses. In the unique mechanics area we have
I am under the water, please help me.
This is a gauge that will be filled up as your ops are attacked by specific enemies. While it does not do anything on its own, if it builds up enough it causes your ops to be stunned and take a respectable amount of damage, even enough to sometimes outright kill your squishy range units. Overall, while good in theory, this mechanic can often fluctuate between... I think they forgot to add a mechanic in this event, and... Oh god, oh fuck, my entire defensive line has been stunned by this walking anemone looking motherfucker, please make it stop! with very little middle ground. The stage layout is rather standard, if inventive and relatively engaging. The beacon placements are usually where you need them to be, and you will very rarely need to play the match mind, an exception being EX-4, which is consequentially the stage I struggle the most with. For mobs, stay away from the crawlers. Send someone to stall them or a kill squad away from your main defensive line. Honestly, at least the Reapers have the decency to kill themselves before they can do anything close to actual damage most of the time. Other than that, I think it's kinda cool that the Sea Drifters move in schools like fish do. Yeah, I think that's about that. Wait, this event had bosses? Alright then, we're talking about those two. The first to talk is a largely inoffensive humanoid enemy and the first enemy in Arknights that could be described as a mini-boss. Because while the game describes him as a mere elite, there is only ever one of them in any select stage, and his importance in the story more than justifies his designation. It's a shame that the Crawlers and Reapers usually are larger threats on him though. Surter bait out of 10, moving on. The Bishop. Does it discredit me if I say I got little to no idea of what this guy does? He's a little pushover and is definitely compensating for something with that size. Honestly, he's all bark and no bite. A large set piece to decorate the middle of every level he's in and go down with laughable ease. For most of these reasons, I'll give Undertides 3 stars in the gameplay department. Novel ideas are good and all, but it seems that at the end of the day, Undertides just couldn't ride that wave. Ugh. 6 stars, moving on. What? You want a proper review? Fine. Funny how the first 6-star score of this show was such a reluctant one. You'll probably come to find throughout this series that I hate 2 things above all when it comes to operators. Repetitiveness and rudeness. Well, say hello to Miss Thigh's McRepetitiveness and her good friend Bitch the Cat! Alright, that was too harsh. But I legitimately did not care much for this banner, even though I knew it was an objectively good one. Cause its impact on the story is nothing short of tremendous, and the concept of forwarding a beloved operator's tale by releasing an altar of them was also novel, before Yostar milked it for all it was worth with literally every single limited operator ever since. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Just know, next time, I won't be so gracious. If we're to talk objectively here, there's a shitload to love. Scotty's life to the Enfan archetype, Calcium bringing a monster-shaped gun to a medic fight, a Kafuyu. Just the whole operator school as fuck. Samurai are a top-tier character archetype, don't at me. And Gladia. Do I need to say more? Fucking free real estate. So yeah, you earned those 6 stars, Undertides. And thus, we reach the part of the video that is the least or most important depending on who you ask. Officially designated as all the other shit, it will be covering the skins, furniture, and unique out-of-game mechanics that were added specifically for this event. On the skin front, we have a very nice lineup. Come on, it's Bloodline of Combat. You can't go wrong with Bloodline of Combat. And besides Eunectes, who still retains her title as the most annoyingly fanservice character in the game for no particular reason, everyone gets quite the treatment, especially Madam with a dapper accent filled with her beautiful dress. Furniture disappointed me if I'm gonna be honest. Sure, it looks decent, but a beach resort? Really? You couldn't achieve tonal whiplash this severe if you had Michael Myers serving ice cream, for God's sake. As always, we get a few more paradox simulators. And on that note, let's take a moment to retroactively give Mansfield 6 stars in this category for introducing the best miscellaneous feature this game has ever seen. Other than that, we get the standard limited banner fare. Free 10 pull and another 14 pulls as singles, good stuff. So yeah, I think with this we've covered every... What is that? Oh yeah, brother! You think we were done? We got mining to do in the Originium mines. Safe? Doubtfully. Ethical? Absolutely not. So what are you waiting for? Grab your pick and get ready to never hit an Originium vein. Hey, it gives you quite a few pulls on average though. Much appreciated. Yeah, 6 stars on this category. I was debating deducting one for the lackluster furniture, but it represents a small part of an otherwise stellar array of features. so it gets overlooked for this once. Here we are, the final score of the first Skorak dissection. This episode's event was large, dignified, and very blue. Sort of like the sea creatures whose stories it aimed to tell. But after averaging out the star scores and adding a bit of my judgment in there, we give Undertides an overall score of 5 stars. While the gameplay was a bit hit or miss, the solid story, exceptional unique lineup, and host of stellar features elevated to true greatness. Besides, its significance as the hallmark of Arknight's second anniversary, even if it wasn't framed as that in global, cannot be understated. Truly, a magnificent first entry to the Skorak archives, and a brilliant ending to our first lecture. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you everyone so much for watching this first Skorak dissection, and I'll see you later. Hello everyone, and I hope you liked the first fully scripted video on the Skorak channel. A few issues with audio will be ironed out in the future, but I hope that it was enjoyable nonetheless. As always, Discord link is down in the description, Patreon link up on the screen, and I'm Fun K9 Gaming. You're awesome. Thank you, and I'll see you later.